From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening. It's been a horror start to the long weekend on our roads. A 48-year-old motorcycle rider killed in a Glenorchy crash this morning. While police confirm a teenager involved in an incident last Friday at Austin's Ferry has died in hospital. Authorities are pleading with drivers to take it easy with high traffic numbers expected.
A sombre beginning to the Easter long weekend, the aftermath of a car and motorbike colliding.
Tragically, as a result of that crash, the rider of the motorcycle was declared deceased at the scene.
Emergency crews were called to the Brooker Highway at Glenorchy around 9 o'clock this morning to find the wreckage. Police say they tried to intercept the motorbike travelling at high speeds near the Elwick Road intersection before it crashed into a Holden Captiva.
The vehicle was proceeding through a green light. We believe the motorcyclist has disobeyed a red light and the motorcycle rider has been thrown from the motorcycle. It's
understood the 3 occupants in the car escaped uninjured.
They were unharmed but clearly shaken up by what had occurred.
Another climb in our state's road toll.
The 15th life that has been lost on Tasmanian roads since the 1st of January this year.
That's compared to 8 lives at the same time last year.
Unfortunately, this is one that could have been avoided.
It comes as police confirm the 13-year-old boy involved in last week's moped crash in Austin's Ferry has died in hospital. Both tragedies a stark warning for drivers to take extra care behind the wheel this Easter, as thousands of Tasmanians hit the roads for the holiday period.
Not only have you got people coming in to visit from interstate, but also, generally speaking, Tasmanians get out and about a little bit more.
Last year's Easter long weekend had 1 fatality and 8 serious injuries on our road. Authorities not wanting to see this number climb. Police will be out in full force on Tasmanian highways and main roads as part of Operation Safe Arrival, but will also be using covert measures to catch those doing the wrong thing by targeting back streets and rural roads, hoping everyone gets home safely over the break, with many offences top of authorities' agenda.
People who are speeding or driving too fast for the conditions, who are driving after they've taken alcohol or drugs, they're not paying attention, not wearing their seatbelt.
Rebecca Gaidaneris at 7 Tasmania News.
Well, the dream of a renewable energy hub at Bell Bay would be in tatters under a coalition federal government, according to State Labor. The last remaining hydrogen proponent, Able Energy, threatening to pull the pin in response to Peter Dutton's pledge to scrap tax credits for hydrogen producers.
Jeremy Rockcliffe needs to stand up to Peter Dutton to ensure that these hydrogen production tax credits aren't scrapped and projects like Able aren't put at risk.
I'm very close to that project, but like any project that is of a commercial nature, it needs to be able to stack up economically.
Last year, 3 other companies had already shelved plans for hydrogen facilities at Bell Bay, citing a lack of access to electricity. A group of youths have caused chaos at a Glenorchy Woolworths store. It comes just a day after more than a dozen teens stormed a Big W complex in the same area, ransacking shelves and intimidating workers. Around 20 youths swarmed the store last night.
It will be alleged that some of these youths have then assaulted the security guard. Again, we had staff members, we had members of the public in this supermarket who have witnessed appalling behaviour.
In a statement, Woolworths Group said there's been 37 serious incidents perpetrated by youth offenders this year alone. Investigations are still underway and anyone with information is being urged to come forward. The man accused of going on a crime spree through Goodwood last month has faced court briefly in Hobart. 55-year-old James Eric Lachlan-Borth is facing 12 charges, including attempted murder. The West Moona man hasn't entered a plea. The hearing was adjourned and he's due back in court on May 20th. Tasmanians have wasted no time snapping up an Easter holiday's worth of fresh seafood ahead of the long weekend. Chocolate, of course, also high on the shopping list, with one distiller making the bold decision to mix it with a locally produced whisky.
The mad rush to put fresh fish on the table this Easter's already begun.
It probably is the busiest 4 or 5 days of the year, consistently day after day.
Whitefish proving a popular traditional choice ahead of Good Friday. Blue-eye, gemfish and ling among those also snapped up early this morning.
The gummy shark again I reckon is probably the biggest seller. Customers are just loving it.
But for fishmongers, preparation hasn't been all smooth sailing. Some proving a trickier catch this year.
We've had some Not quite as good at blue-eye catches as we were hoping for, mainly because it's a bit later in the season. Normally Easter's a bit earlier.
An increase in the price of crays not deterring lobster lovers. One Margate fisherman selling over 400 yesterday, leaving none for shoppers today.
Lobsters are definitely more expensive than last year. Obviously the international market into China opened up again. That's changed the price a bit. Sales have reflected a little bit. But we're still selling plenty of them.
Of course, it wouldn't be Easter without chocolate. Chocolatiers like Nut Patch have been preparing stock since February.
Our field eggs are quite famous. People pre-order those. So we do a rocket fuel, which is a rum and raisin, a peppermint, jundua, liquefied hazelnut.
For those with a more mature palate, one Tasmanian distiller has a special adults-only Easter treat, combining Tasmanian whiskey with chocolate, but just how to make it remains a secret.
We melt down, so it's organic 70% dark chocolate. We do about 20 kilos at a time, and we have a process that we have to do to be able to combine the ingredients and keep them in suspension.
Giving the Easter Bunny a run for its money. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
The UTAS Stadium redevelopment will go ahead as planned. Launceston Council signing off on the development application today after failing to reach a decision last year on the removal of a Dutch elm tree. The iconic 70-year-old tree needs to go to make way for the expanded grandstand and change rooms. Despite hesitation from some councillors, they unanimously voted to approve the application.
Proposing the removal of this magnificent tree as part of the DA, it makes it extremely challenging to decide.
They can't make an omelette without cracking some eggs, so let's move forward, and in a few years' time, hopefully the 4 new trees that have been planted will in fact look like they've always been there.
Timber from the tree will be incorporated into the new stadium. The Health Workers Union claims employees at an adult mental health care clinic in Hobart's North say they've been told the facility will be privatised. The Tolosa Street service operates 12 beds which are evenly split between long-term residents and respite patients who've been discharged from the Royal Hobart Hospital.
This will mean worse conditions for workers, and it will mean worse outcomes for patients. This is not only sickening to hear this news, it will mean people will be sicker.
Minister for Mental Health Roger Yench says services at the centre are being consolidated into a new purpose-built facility and that there will be no job losses. Hobart Airport is preparing to welcome 6 extra flights to meet the demand brought on by the return of Dark Mofo. It will bring over 1,500 extra passengers to Tasmania for the popular winter festival.
Demand for Dark Mofo is sky high.
Tasmania is the hottest place to be in winter with the return of Dark Mofo.
Qantas scheduling 6 extra June flights from Melbourne and Sydney to Hobart, meeting demands from interstate tourists. Around 40,000 event tickets have been snapped up already, the majority going to mainland attendees. Event operators expecting to draw in more visitors than the 2023 festival, which saw close to 35,000 mainlanders braving our winter.
Every time someone comes, they want to come back again. They want to dive more into Dark Mofo. They want to dive more into exploring Tasmania.
The support coming after a stripped-back festival last year, and for tourism operators, it's been sorely missed.
We went through a winter last year without the festival, and that really showed us the importance of these types of events.
It's not just visitors getting involved. Locals are also venturing out to revel in the festivities.
Families are getting out and about in winter. They're also spending in our economy, and it's really great for our morale as well as a community.
Dark Mofo will get underway on June 5th, featuring the return of many fan favourite events, including the Nude Solstice Swim, Winter Feast and Ogga Ogga Burning. Billy Gibbons, 7 Tasmania News.
One Liberal senator has hit out at Labor's preferences for the upcoming federal election. John O'Duniam is concerned about a Braddon Independent candidate's views about Port Arthur, while in Franklin the senator says Labor's preferences shows the party doesn't support Tasmania's salmon industry, given it placed former Greens candidate Owen Fitzgerald second and Independent Peter George third on the Franklin ticket, both known for being anti-salmon.
It speaks to the lack of conviction this party has when it comes to jobs in this state and of course the future of our economy. It demonstrates that this party, the Labor Party, will do whatever it takes And they say you can trust them, but can you if you're doing deals with an anti-salmon campaigner?
Our preferences are part of national negotiations, and national discussions are a matter for the party administration. They're not something as a candidate that I get involved in.
Labor placed Liberal candidate Josh Garvin fourth on its ticket. A new childcare centre with 200 places could be built opposite the Huonville Primary School. The Mayor today welcoming a federal Labor contribution of $5 million, but say more than double that is actually needed to bring it to fruition. There are currently 80 local families waiting for a spot.
At the moment, this is what we are hoping for and know that we'll be able to succeed, and it will definitely make it easier for those 80 families.
And the fact that we have a fund available, a re-elected Albanese Labor government has said that we will fund $5 million, which is what the ask was from council.
Both candidates indicating some of the remaining funding would need to come from other sources. A specialist mental health emergency response program that's shown promise in the south and northwest of the state has rolled out in the north. It gives first responders the support they need while also relieving pressure on hospitals already struggling with bed block and ramping.
It's a call-out first responders often struggle to resolve. An incident with a mental health crisis at its core.
The most likely outcome being a person's taken to the emergency ward of a hospital under the mental health legislation.
There is a lot of assuming that if you're feeling unwell, you go to hospital.
Emergency services now uniting with mental health workers in Tasmania's north to deliver a service that successfully treated almost 7,000 patients across the south and northwest of the state so far.
We've been able to evaluate the feedback and our key performance indicators and continue to grow the service and the service model to be really specific to the regions.
Tasmania is now covered 7 days a week,
allowing authorities to respond to the unique challenges presented by incidents involving mental health, including welfare checks and cases of self-harm or suicidal ideation. The team consisting of a paramedic, a police officer and a mental health clinician responding to 42 call-outs in its first 2 weeks.
By having all those professionals together, we can assess and make sure that we are approaching it in the most beneficial way.
They are trained to work together to complement each other's skill sets.
Treating patients in their own homes and preventing unnecessary trips to hospital.
To have someone that can come in and sit down on the couch, and it's so much less clinicalised and formal.
The service delivered from this unmarked vehicle, avoiding the unwanted attention that flashing red and blue lights tend to attract. Keeping someone experiencing a mental health crisis in a safe and familiar environment while relieving pressure on emergency departments.
At least half of the people that I've responded to so far have said, wow, this is a great service, I didn't know that it existed.
Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmania News.
To some breaking news, and serious injuries have been reported after a 2-vehicle crash that's occurred in the last hour on Johnston Road at St Leonard's in the state's north. The road is currently blocked. That's between Penquite and Station Roads, and drivers in the area are asked to avoid and expect delays. Politicians from all sides have united in Hobart to sign a pledge against anti-trans hate in state and federal election campaigns.
Demonising trans folk has no place in a modern society and a modern election campaign, and trans rights are human rights.
Trans and gender diverse people already face very high levels of stigma and discrimination. So instead of attacking us, politicians should be looking for ways to include us and empower us.
It's hoped the commitment will steer conversations away from the anti-trans rhetoric that dominated the recent US presidential election.
We do not want to go down the path that other elections have gone down recently, where they are demonised for political gain.
Labor Senator Carol Brown and Bass MP Bridget Archer among those that signed the pledge.
After winning their round 1 clashes by 77 and 137 points respectively, crosstown rivals Launceston and North Launceston are promising fireworks when they face off in a Good Friday showdown tomorrow night. While it'll be a spectacle for fans under lights at UTAS Stadium, the teams themselves are also taking a keen interest in how they match up.
You've got your 2 best teams in the comp, and they've got dangerous players across the lines. I think it's one of those opportunities where it's really early, and I think both teams will feel each other out around where they fit.
Obviously North are the measuring stick for the competition, and to get them in round 2 is going to be good for us to see where we need to get to.
The rivalry round isn't confined to the Premier League. The two clubs play across all age groups, while in the Women's Premier League, in-form South Launceston follow up their convincing opening round victory, playing Deloraine, who left Scottsdale with a 1-point win. The Tassie girls just couldn't hold off the fast-finishing GWS Academy side at the Under-16 National Championships. 3 goals from skipper Matilda Lang would help them finish the third quarter with an impressive 45-22 lead, but they couldn't keep it up, in the end going down by just 2 points this afternoon. Undefeated so far this year, powerhouse South Hobart will have the Devonport Strikers' nail-biting Lackaselgic win over Glenorchy front of mind when they face off in the quarter-final on Saturday. Particularly because South's Kobe Camp was on the wrong side of Glenorchy's thrilling cup win last year, booting what he thought would be the winning goal for Kingborough.
That's definitely that motivation to feel that feeling and, to project your team into a winning position and into the next round.
In the Women's Statewide Cup, Launceston United have to back up against South Hobart following their 4-0 WSL loss last week.
We saw what we can do, and then we also saw what South can do. So just trying to see where we can get in.
Good evening. Hobart reached 19 today. It was 23 in Launceston and 19 at both Devonport and also Burnie. King Island took out our high with 24, 22 on Flinders, Bushy Park and also St Helens. Friendly Beaches and Grove 21, 20 at Smithton and 19 recorded at Lowhead, Lyowini and Strawn. A band of mid to high-level cloud is seen passing over the state from the west at times today. A broad band of cloud containing embedded thunderstorms sits over WA as severe tropical cyclone Errol continues to rear his head off the northern coast of WA. Tomorrow a trough will move to the southwest of Tasmania as a broad area of low pressure pushes eastward from WA into SA and across the Bight. North-northwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots across all waters statewide. Southwesterly swells increasing to 3 metres in the east. Possible showers again across the south tomorrow for Good Friday. Hobart 23, 24 in Huonville, 1 up in Campania with 25 there. Launceston a few showers 22. Now they're likely to ease in Devonport 20. A couple of showers too in Georgetown, 19 is the maximum. Wet conditions also towards the west. Burnie and Wynyard both 20 and 21 in Strawn. Showery across the east too this Friday. 22 the top in St Helens, 23 in Swansea and 21 at Port Arthur. Isolated showers across the majority of the state on Easter Saturday, although cloudy conditions in St Helens. Very little change on Easter Sunday, but it won't keep the Easter bunny away, I'm sure. And on Easter Monday, soggy again with the exception of Port Arthur, as they will embrace some cloudy skies there. To Good Friday conditions across the country now. 32 in Alice Springs and Broome tomorrow, fine in Brisbane 28, a fine and sunny 25 in Sydney, Melbourne 30 degrees but partly cloudy. It's partly cloudy too in Hobart 15, a few showers across Launceston 16 and a shower or 2 in Devonport with 15. It's been great to share some belly laughs with you this week. Murph, enjoy a well-deserved break over Easter and I'll take care of the weather while you're away.
You sure about that, car? I think the roster changed this afternoon. Go and have a look. And time is up for us now. News, sport and weather updates during the evening. All of us here wish you a happy and safe Easter. Good night.